Sir Sterling Moss joining us live from the Concours d'Elegance at Amelia Island, and David from Amarillo, Texas on the line with a question for Sir Sterling. David, go ahead quickly if you could, please.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
first
David?
of all, Sir Sterling, thank you for being on. It's a real treat to get to talk to you. Your name is the first driver I ever recognized as a driver's name. My dad was a big fan of yours. My question is...
Well, thank you very much.
Oh, my pleasure. My question is, you probably have seen more of Formula One in the modern era than anyone else. Who would you rank as the best all-time driver? And feel free to throw yourself in there if that's correct.
Well, no, I wouldn't put myself in there, but I'll tell you this, that it's impossible to do that, because people always say, who's the fastest, You've got to separate it into two places. One is when it was really dangerous. When you go out and you go around a corner, you know if something goes wrong, you're going to be dead. That is a big difference to going around the same corner in the car that you think, if I lose it here, I'll go back and get another car. So therefore, in my mind, we have to split from when racing was dangerous, which we're talking up to, say, middle 60s, to then, up till then, and then after then. And if one says before that, I'm biased. I think Fangio probably was the best. Jimmy Clark was another one. Nuvolari, if you go before the war. But although I raced against him, he wasn't at his best, but he was a magic man. If you're talking after that, well, then obviously you have to talk about Senna. And many people would say Michael Schumacher, who I think was tremendous, but he was not, in my mind, as good as Senna. But, you know, every person has their own idea, and I think it's unfair to say, well, how's Senna compare with Fangio, because it isn't comparable. Because if you've got the thing, death, riding on your shoulder, boy, it makes you take a hell of a lot of difference, I'll tell you, as it not being a safe situation.
The phrase so often applied to you, greatest driver never to win the world championship. When you hear that, is that a source of pride or a source of frustration?
Yeah. Oh, no. Oh, no, pride. I mean, it was frustration to start with, because I knew at the time I could beat the people who were winning. I mean, I really did. I mean, the point system was different and so on. The cars used to break, and that was the problem in the old days. Cars were not reliable. But the people I really respect, people like Dan Gurney, he wasn't world champion either. I mean, Tony Brooks. These were people who, in my mind, were terrific drivers at that time. Now, to have the exclusivity of being the one, well, he's the guy who should have had it but didn't, that's something very special. Because there are, now, I don't want to appear big-headed, but there are certainly world champions that I know I could beat. And I'm sure there are quite a few others that maybe I couldn't, but that is something very special to me, actually. So I jealously guard that title.
Am I not correct that on one occasion you could well have been world champion, indeed the first British world champion ever, and instead you refused to take advantage of the rules or a penalty or whatever, and Mike Hawthorne earned that distinction. Tell us that story quickly.
Yes. Well, this was at a race, and he got up the escape road, and he'd had a push and so on. And I said, well, it doesn't matter. He was not on the race circuit, therefore he can't be disqualified. And by reinstating him to second, I'd won, and they put him second. That then meant I lost the championship that year by half a point or a point. But that doesn't matter. I mean, what matters to me, racing is racing, and you know who's the person you want to beat. And I know damn well that at that time I could beat Mike. He's a friend of mine. But I could beat him, but it's only right that he should not be disqualified for something that was nothing to do with him, really.
A technicality. It's been said that you
exactly.
retired too early, or that you may have retired too early.
Yeah.
You were injured pretty badly at Goodwood. Do you feel you quit too soon?
Absolutely. But the trouble was, you've got to look at the situation. I was unconscious for a month, paralyzed for 6 months, but importantly, my concentration, which is a very important ingredient of racing, didn't come back for 4 to 5 years. And I tired myself out. My times were quite good, but I did not do things automatically. In other words, I'd have to look at the things and say, well, I need to brake now, I need to accelerate now. It wasn't automatic, and I could see that it was dangerous for others and for myself. So I took the only decision which I think was reasonable, but it was, yes, it was too early, certainly, but with the pressure of the press and this and this and this, you know, you can't not make a decision, and you have to live with it. But I've had a fabulous life, and it's thanks to motor racing. I mean, I did 525 races, and that's quite a lot.
You make me proud to be a race fan, Sir Sterling, and doubly so that you've come and honored this television show with your presence tonight. Thank you very much for doing that.
Thanks for having me. We have a wonderful time here, and come here next year. It's a great place, Amelia Island. Terrific.
That's the Amelia Island Concours d'Elegance and Sir Stirling Moss. Thank you again.